Hi, my friends. Once again, you're here with Mr. Malik. Just want to go point some things out before we get started with a little science experiment. That's also going to put our senses to the test. Before we do that, let's look at the date. Today is Monday, May 11th, 2020. Let's look at that for a second. All right. One thing that we notice is that there is day in our word Monday. Every time we talk about the day of the week, we're going to find the word day in there. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Day is always in there. So if we can say or sound out the first letter of that word, we know that it ends with day. So we could say, M makes the m, and then Monday, Monday. May, 11. No, we don't say 11. We say 11th. It is Monday, May 11th, 2020. You could say 2020. Personally, I don't like to do that because there's not a comma here. Right? When we talk about thousands, it would be ones, tens, hundreds, comma, thousands. I like saying 2020 when we talk about the year. Even though it is 2020, I like saying 2020. Okay? So we've got Monday, May 11th, 2020, or Monday, May 11th, 2020. Another thing that you can do is we can write it in short form. We talked about this in another lesson, and you guys have been doing this all year, is we're going to write the month, the day, and the year. The month, the day, and the year. Now this is interesting, because we're not writing the day, we're going to be writing the date. The date. So when we write short form, we've got this, something that looks like this, this, and this. We have our month, our date, and our year. We don't put the whole 2020 or the whole 2020. We just put the last two in there. So we would say 20. All right? It's not 2019, it's 2020. We're going to put the date here. The date is 11. And then we're going to put the month. We remember we count them. We say January, February, March, April, May. May is the 5th month. January, February, March, April, May. It is the 5th month. So I will put a 5 there. Adults will write it like this. Older kids will write it like this. You too one day will write it like this. May 11th, 2020. A lot of times when you do something on your paper, you'll write your name. Be nice like that, nice and small and beautiful. And then you'll write the date underneath it and you'll say 5/11/20. That tells anybody that looks at this that Mr. Malik, Mr. James Malik, did this May 11th, 2020. He did it May 11th, 2020. The 5 tells them it's May. The 11 tells them the date in May that he did it. And then this is the year. But what about the day? I got the date, but what about the day? Well, here's the thing. If you go back and you look at a calendar, the date will tell you what day it is. The 11th will be on a Monday. It will not be on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. When you go back and you look at May 11th, you will see that it was on a Monday. All right, let's move on from that, okay? I do want to get to this little thing I was thinking about yesterday. This was crazy. I got a bag of Doritos, and I got a bag of Cheetos. And I looked at both those bags, and I was like, which one do I want to eat? Do I want to eat these Doritos? Do I want to eat these Cheetos? Do I want to eat them both? I don't know yet. Probably. But I got to figure this out. Which one do I want? And if I have a friend to share with, which I do, I have a friend, now I want to give my friend one of my bags of chips. But I want the better one. I want the one that has more in it. I want the one that tastes better. So we're going to try to figure out what that is. All right? Let me see here. I look over here. I've got a bag of Doritos. All right? And I've got a bag of Cheetos. For this little experiment, I'm going to need one Dorito. I'm going to need one Cheeto. All right? So let me go ahead and take a Dorito out of this bag. Come on, Dorito. Who's the lucky one? Ah, you don't get much perfect than that. That is a perfect Dorito. Perfect. El Dorito. I'm going to take a piece of tape here, and we're going to take this Dorito right up here to the board. All right. El Dorito. All right. I need to take a Cheeto. Haha. Love Cheetos, boy. Get one of those. Boom. Got a Cheeto. That's a nice looking Cheeto. Let me get a piece of tape here. All right. Let's stick that Cheeto right up there. Oh yeah, boy. So I got a Dorito and I got a Cheeto. I'm going to write their names up here and let's see. Dorito. Dorito. And Cheeto. Toe. It's not Doritos because there is not more than one. It is just a Dorito. It is not Cheetos with an S because it's not a lot of Cheetos. It's just one Cheeto. Now let's look at these two things. I want to know which one is better. Which one is better? Which one has the better chips inside of it? So that I can give my friend the one that's not the best. I want the better one. Sorry. They're both good. But one might be better than the other. Just a little bit. And I want that one. So let's start out with maybe finding out, well, how am I going to find anything out? I think the best thing to do is to think like a scientist. When I think like a scientist, I take a step back and I think for a minute and I rub my chin and I use my brain. I say, you know what? To figure this out, I might need to use my senses. I use my senses to find out which one is better. What are my senses? What are the senses that I have to find out which one is better? Let's see. I've got taste, right? Taste. I can taste things. What else is there? Taste. We can see things. All right. See things. We can feel them. Feel. Let's see. What else is there? We can hear. All right. Taste, see, feel, hear. What else is there? I know I'm missing one. 5 different senses. We got our nose. We can smell. You smell what the Jimmy is cooking? All right, let's look at this. I can taste, I can see, I can feel, I can hear, and I can smell. Let's see if these 5 senses can help me figure out which one is better, the Dorito or the Cheeto. Let's start with maybe seeing, using our sight, using our eyes, and looking at them. Which one's bigger? Well, I don't know. I mean, my eyes kind of tell me that the Dorito is bigger, but the Cheeto looks longer. And this one's fatter, this one's skinnier. But this one looks shorter and this one looks taller. There's a tool that I can use to figure this out. Let me see if I can look over here on my science table. Oh, this could be a good one. I could use the measuring cup that we use to measure liquids in. To measure, that's not going to work. Get out of here, measuring cup. I could use my thermometer to find out. No, I can't. The thermometer would tell me if they were hot or cold, just like it tells me outside if it is hot or cold. All right, I don't need that. Thank you for leaving. Maybe I can use the scale and weigh them. I can weigh them and see which one is heavier and which one is lighter. That's actually not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. To see which one weighs more and which one weighs less. So let's go ahead and take a Dorito and a Cheeto. And we're going to pop them right in here. We're going to see which one weighs more. We'll use another Dorito and another Cheeto. So I've got this here. Got it going pretty spot on. Dorito. Oh, that Dorito heavy, boy. And Cheeto. I can see by looking at the line in the very middle that the Dorito is going down further than the Cheeto. That means the Dorito weighs more. That means that there is more food than a Cheeto. I'm going to put this away. There's another way, though, for me to be able to measure these and find out which one has more. And that is by using a ruler. I could use this ruler. But there's all kinds of rulers. There's this, and there's measuring tape. And there's this kind of ruler, which seems more practical than this. I don't need all this to measure these little guys. This is something I would use to measure me. Or measure the board. I wouldn't use this to measure me. That's ridiculous and just plain silly. This right here, this would be more practical. I would only have to use one. I can tell how tall I am. But for these, we're going to use this. Get out of here. All right, now let's take a look and let's measure. Two different ways I can measure. I can measure by using the inches, which are the ones that are bigger and farther apart with the numbers, or I can use the centimeters, which are on the other side. Those are the smaller numbers and closer together. We're going to use the inches, all right? We're going to use the inches to see how tall, and we're going to use the centimeters to see how wide they are, all right? I think that that's going to work best for us, and I want to use a different ruler, because I want to use this red one. I need this red one to be a little bit better to me. All right, so I'm going to write these words, our senses, over here. All right, I don't want to take them away. Senses. 5 senses, like my little spider. And we said hearing. All right, we said taste. We said seeing or sight. We said feel. All right. Hear, taste, sight, feel, and nose. Smell. Smell. 5 senses. All right. We're going to do the length in inches. When we see inches, we'll see I-N-C-H-E-S. We're going to see how long it is. Same thing with the Cheeto. We're going to say inches. All right. And then when we do the width, right? The inches is going to be like this, going that way. Okay? Inches is going to tell us the length, and then the centimeters are going to tell us the width. All right? We'll put centimeters. Centimeters. Now I could spell these out and make them very long, but instead I'm going to do them just like they did them on the ruler. They make it smarter by writing just Instead of writing that big word, they just write cm. That means centimeter. For the inches part, they just write inch. Inch. And then centimeter, we're just going to write the cm. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the length, and we're going to do the length in inch. So I go to my big number side, all right? I'm going to find the 1, and at the beginning of the ruler, even though it doesn't have a number there, that is the 0. The first mark is a 0. So I'm going to put my ruler up next to it, right at the very bottom, that's the 0. Start right there, and I'm going to go up. And it goes to 2. It almost gets to 3. Almost, not quite. It's halfway there. All right. So to write 2.5 in inches, I'm going to write, come on, 2.5 inches. Another way you could have wrote that is 2.5. 0.5 being on a scale of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got halfway there. All right. The other half we did not. All right. So 2.5 inches. It is half of getting to the next number, which would be 3. I'm going to look at my Cheeto. Cheeto. Let's see how long it is. My Cheeto, well, I'll be. My Cheeto is actually 2.5 inches too. It is 2.5 inches. Which one's longer? Which one's bigger? Which one's taller? That's what we want to know. Which one is longer or which one is taller? They're the same. Neither one is greater than or less than the other. They are equal. Okay, all right. So if I'm looking at how tall they are, I want both of them. The size doesn't matter there, obviously. Now let's look at the width. To do the width, I'm going to use the little numbers, and I'm going to do it in centimeters. The centimeters are using the smaller part of the ruler. The Dorito, I'm going to go on the widest and largest part of the Dorito, and the Dorito is 5 centimeters. 5 centimeters. Okay? And let's look at the Cheeto. Cheeto, how wide are you? Cheeto is 1 centimeter. Some stuff happening here. The Dorito is 5 centimeters. The Cheeto, 1 centimeter. Wide, 5 centimeters. 1 centimeter. Skinny, fat, opposites. All right? And the opposites have attracted me. But let's look at this. Dorito, 5 centimeters. Is it greater than or less than the 1 centimeter of the Cheeto? It's greater than. And remember, the alligator or Mr. Malik wants to eat the bigger one. So which one would I eat if I was just looking at the sight? If I'm just looking at the sight, I'm going to eat the Dorito because the Dorito is bigger. It was the same in height, but it was bigger in width. I'm eating the Dorito. My friend can have the Cheeto. But that's not the only test, is it? Let's look at some of my other senses. We did sight, right? We found out how tall, how big they are. What about feeling? Touch, right? Touch. Touch is another sense. Let me touch this Cheeto. Okay. Feels a little rough. Bumpy. Yeah, bumpy, rough. Like dirt, rocks. I don't like it. Now let's touch this Dorito. Rough, rocky, dirty. So they both, when I touch them, they both feel the same. They actually feel like something you don't want to eat if you couldn't see them. And we're going to go ahead and go to sight because of that. If I couldn't see those and I was feeling them, I honestly would be like, that's disgusting. I don't want to eat that. But instead, I'm going to go to the sight. I was able to use my eyes, and I knew that they were Doritos and Cheetos. I knew that they were chips. So when I grabbed them, I didn't care what they felt like. I just put them in my mouth. But if I couldn't see and I was touching them, I would not want to eat that. If you put that in my hand and a dirty rock in my hand, I would not know the difference. Let's look at the smell. All right, another sense. Let me smell these babies. See which one I think smells better. First, the Dorito. It's a little sweet. A little tangy. A little sweet, a little tangy. All right, I like that. I like the combination. Almost like teriyaki. All right. I feel like teriyaki even takes sweet and tangy and just kind of puts them together. But look at the Cheeto. Let's see what the Cheeto is all about. Let me try that again. I really don't get a smell for the Cheeto, you know? So when I smell them, when I'm using my senses, the Dorito kind of wins again. It's got that nice smell, that sweet and tangy, a teriyaki. All right, that makes me want to eat the Dorito. All right, so the Doritos kind of won some things right here. The Dorito won the sight test, right? Dorito, let's write Dorito up there, because our 5 senses, the Dorito won that one. All right, so Dorito won the sight by looking at its height and its weight, all right? Its width and its length, okay? And yes, and we did do the weight with the scale. We saw that the Dorito even weighed more. It was more product, more to go in my mouth than the Cheeto was. We did the feel test. Neither one of them won that. They both feel disgusting, all right? So when we use that sense, to feel them, we didn't like them. So no one won that one. We're just gonna put an X on that. When we smelled them, we said, sweet, tangy. We said nothing. It really wasn't anything that I smelled. So for the smell with our 5 senses, we're gonna say the Dorito wins. I'm gonna say Dorito. All right, let's listen to these babies. All right, let's listen to them. Let's see what they want to tell us. I'm going to let them have a chance to argue with me, argue their case. Plaintiff, defendant, defendant, plaintiff, plaintiff, defendant. I'm the judge. Tell me why I should eat you. Tell me why I shouldn't eat you. So you're choosing not to talk. Hello? Chips don't talk. They don't make any sound that we know of. I guess they can make crunchy sounds, but that really isn't going to tell me which one is better. So I'm going to say, as far as hearing them, we don't hear anything. Chips don't make noises. They don't talk. They don't growl. They don't bark. They don't meow. All right, so neither one win that category. Oh, finally, we get to the best one. Get to the best one. It's time to use our sense of taste. All right, our sense of taste. Let me wash out my palate a little bit. Make sure I'm ready. All right. All right. There we go. I'm ready to go. All right. Time to use my last sense. Somebody's got to do it. It's going to be me. Which one of these do I want to give my friend? Let's see what the Dorito tastes like. Dorito. Oh, okay. It's like salt and pepper. Salt and peppery. Very salty. Crunchy. Oh boy, that's so good. Good at first, but as soon as you get past the seasoning on the top, the actual chip itself doesn't really have any flavor. It's like a tortilla chip. It's flavorless. Let's take a look at the Cheeto. Don't really taste anything when you do it like that. When you just lick it. No? Oh, when you bite it though, it's cool. It's really cool. It's like a big crunch. And every little piece that you crunch up, it's like cheese has touched every single thing in there. It's like a meteor that's just broken up in your mouth. Cheese. Which one wins this one? You know, I gotta be honest with you. I'd probably have to go with the Dorito again. The Dorito just kind of started out with more flavor. And even though it ended with just that tortilla flavor in the end, that is a flavor in itself. So it had a flavor of tortilla. It had a flavor of the seasoning that's on it. I thought it was pretty good. It also had a little bit of a crunch. The Cheeto didn't really taste anything at first. When I bit into it, it did crunch and there was cheese there. But that was it. It really was it. It was kind of minimal, small amount of flavor really to taste. The Dorito, though, I would have to say won that one. So let's go ahead and look at taste, our 5th sense that we used. And we're going to say that the Dorito won that one. All right, so the Dorito once again. All right, if I take all these things away, and I use my 5 senses to figure out which one of these chips would win, which one would I give to my friend? There are 5 categories that I used. All right. I used the feel. Right. When I did the feel, which one won? If they won, I'm going to put a check. If they lost, I'm going to put an X. All right. On the feel, neither one of them won. We didn't pick any one, did we? No. They both feel gross. So we're going to say X on that and X on that. All right. There goes one of our senses. The next sense that we did, we tried smell. Let's look at smell. All right. Smell. I smelled them. I smelled the sweet and tangy of the Dorito. I like that. All right. I liked it a lot. So I said, check Dorito. The Cheeto, I didn't smell anything. So I put an X there for that. All right. No flavor, really. Let's go down another one. We're done with the smell. Let's go to here. All right, here. And neither one of them wanted to talk to me right now. To be honest with you, I don't know if they talk to some people. I believe that they do. But with me, they did not talk to me. Not today. All right, so I'm going to put an X for both of them because they did not want to speak to me. Oh, the next one was taste. Let's look at the taste. All right, taste. I said the Dorito tastes good. I said the Cheeto tastes good. But I felt the Dorito had more things to taste than the Cheeto did. So I felt like the Dorito won in this. All right, the Cheeto did not. And then the last thing was the sight. All right, the sight. I measured them. I found out that the Dorito and the Cheeto are the same height, right? But I found out the Dorito was bigger in width. So that's more. The Dorito's more. I weighed them too, and the Dorito weighs more. So the Dorito is definitely fatter and heavier than the Cheeto. And when it comes to eating junk food, I want to eat the Dorito. It's more, okay? So the Dorito won that one too. And the Cheeto unfortunately lost that one. So which one am I going to give my friend? Well, let's count how many check marks I gave the Dorito. 1, 2, 3. I gave the Dorito 3. 3 checks. How many did I give the Cheeto? None. All right, 0. Which one's greater than or less than? Well, the 3 is greater than the 0. Mr. Malik is going to eat the Doritos. not the Cheetos. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go eat the Doritos and the Cheetos. And actually, maybe after that, I might eat some fruit and some vegetables because that's what I should have been eating to begin with. But that's neither here nor there. Bye.